I never thought I'd be posting about relationships on Reddit, but here I am. Maybe I just need to vent. Maybe someone out there has been through the same thing and can find some comfort in my story. My name is James, 28. I was in a relationship with Sophie, 27, for 3 years. We had lived together for 2. If you had asked me just a few months ago whether I was happy, I would have said yes, without hesitation. Everything between us was normal, but in the best way. I still remember the night I met Sophie at a board, game gathering with mutual friends. She laughed at my terrible jokes, and I was captivated by how competitive she got over Monopoly. One thing led to another, and we became a couple. After a year, moving in together just felt natural. We were always at each other's places anyway. We had our little routines. Sunday morning pancakes, evening walks in the park, her watching reality TV while I played on my phone. It wasn't extraordinary, but it was ours. Our families got along. My mom loved her. Her dad invited me to football games. We had stable careers. She worked in marketing, and I handled construction projects. Life was steady. I had even started looking at engagement rings on my lunch breaks, picturing a future where Sophie and I grew old together. But then, on an ordinary Tuesday night, she changed everything. We were having dinner like we always did. I was mid-bite into my sandwich when Sophie looked at me and, in the most casual tone, asked, "What do you think about trying an open relationship?" I froze. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She started talking excitedly about how she had been reading about open relationships online, how so many couples were doing it, and how it could help us grow stronger. "We're still young, James. I don't want us to wake up 10 years from now wondering what we missed out on." I felt like the ground beneath me had disappeared. I put my fork down, took a breath, and asked the only thing that made sense in my head, "Is there someone specific you want to date?" Her eyes widened. She quickly shook her head. No, it's not about anyone in particular. I just think this could be good for us." I sat there, staring at the person I thought I knew, wondering where the hell this was coming from. Sophie had always been jealous. She once got upset because a waitress smiled at me too much while taking our order. And now she was telling me that we should see other people. Something didn't feel right. I wanted to say no. I wanted to ask her why. But then I saw it. The way she was leaning in, eyes wide, waiting for my approval. She had already made up her mind. This wasn't a discussion. It was a decision she was hoping I would accept. And like an idiot, I nodded. Okay. Sophie wasted no time diving into her new dating life. She downloaded Tinder and Bumble that same night. She even asked me to help her pick pictures of my girlfriend that would make her look more attractive to other men. She created a profile for me too, just for appearances. But I didn't care. I wasn't interested in dating anyone else. Within a week, Sophie had 3 dates lined up. "Look at this guy. He's a personal trainer at that fancy gym downtown. I'm getting coffee with him tomorrow." She showed me his picture like we were discussing celebrities, not people she was about to meet in real life. The first time she dressed up for a date, something inside me broke. I had never seen that black dress before. She had bought new clothes for this. She spent an hour doing her makeup. She twirled in front of the mirror and asked, "How do I look?" "Great," I said, though I felt sick. That night she came home late, laughing. She slipped into bed next to me and texted for an hour. Our Sunday morning pancake ritual, gone. Our quiet evenings watching TV, replaced with her getting ready for another date. She was having the time of her life while I was drowning. And then Emma walked into my life in a way I never expected. Emma had been Sophie's best friend since college. She had always been around, helping us move, watching movies with us, bringing soup when we were sick. I'd always thought of her as just Sophie's friend. One night, while Sophie was out, Emma stopped by to borrow some baking supplies. She took one look at me and frowned. "You look like hell. What's going on?" I didn't mean to unload everything onto her, but I did. I told her how Sophie had sprung this open relationship on me out of nowhere, how she was out with a different guy every night while I sat at home, feeling like a ghost. Emma listened, not just waiting for her turn to speak, but really listening. When I finished, she shook her head. James, that's not an open relationship. That's just Sophie doing whatever she wants without caring how it affects you. Something about hearing it from someone else made me feel less crazy. From that night on, Emma started coming around more. We watched movies, ate takeout, just talked. And then, one night, everything changed. We were sitting on the couch. Sophie was out on yet another date, and Emma was fidgeting with her necklace, a nervous habit of hers. I need to tell you something, she said, and it might make things weird, but I can't keep pretending. I looked at her, waiting. I've had feelings for you for a long time, she admitted, since before you and Sophie got together. But you were with her, and she's my best friend, so I kept it to myself. The room felt smaller. My heart pounded. Emma, kind, thoughtful, beautiful Emma, had feelings for me? You don't have to say anything, she rushed on. I just needed you to know. Watching Sophie treat you like this, it's been killing me. You deserve better. I looked at her. Really looked. At her, and then I kissed her. It should have felt wrong, but it didn't. For the first time in weeks, I felt alive. The moment I kissed Emma, everything changed. I should have felt guilty. I should have thought about how complicated this would be. But all I felt was relief. For weeks, I had been drowning, watching Sophie come home from dates, humming happily, texting other guys while barely acknowledging me. I had been nothing more than a backup plan, someone she expected to wait patiently while she explored the world. Not anymore. That night, Emma and I crossed a line. And for the first time, I didn't regret it. The next few days, I didn't tell Sophie about Emma. Not yet. But I wanted her to feel what I had been feeling for weeks, that gnawing uncertainty, that paranoia. So I started dropping hints. One morning, as Sophie poured herself coffee, I casually mentioned, "Oh, Emma stopped by last night. We had a really great talk." Her hand froze mid-pour. "Emma was here?" "Yeah, we hung out for a while. She's really easy to talk to, you know." Sophie gripped her coffee mug too tightly, spilling a few drops on the counter. "What did you guys talk about?" she asked, trying to sound casual. "Oh, just life, relationships, feelings." The next hour, Sophie was glued to her phone, probably texting Emma, trying to fish for details. Over the next few days, I made sure to bring up Emma more and more. Emma has such a great sense of humor. Emma really understands me. Emma and I have been texting a lot lately. Every time, Sophie's expression grew tighter, her smile more forced. One morning, she finally snapped. I was on my phone texting Emma about some random TV show when Sophie practically lunged across the couch. "Who are you texting?" I glanced at her, completely unfazed. "Just Emma." Sophie's eyes darkened. "You guys have been talking a lot lately." "Yeah, she's great to talk to. Really gets me, you know?" For weeks, Sophie had been going on dates without a care in the world. Now? She was checking my phone when I left it on the table. She was showing up at places I mentioned I'd be. She even started canceling her own dates. Suddenly, she wanted to stay home more, watch movies together, cook dinner. She was trying to mark her territory without admitting it. But I wasn't playing along anymore. Then one night she dropped a bomb. She sat on the couch, looking serious, almost nervous. I think we should close the relationship again? I raised an eyebrow, amused. "Oh? I think we've explored enough." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "We should just focus on us again. Go back to the way things were." I laughed. Not out of joy, but because it was ridiculous. "Oh, you mean go back to me waiting at home while you go on dates? And now that you're done having fun, I'm supposed to just forget everything?" Sophie's face twisted. That's not fair, she said, her voice defensive. You agreed to the open relationship. You could have been dating too. Oh, I have been. She froze. Her face went pale. Wait. What? Who? I leaned back, watching the panic set in. Does it matter? Isn't that what you wanted? Both of us exploring. New experiences? Sophie jumped up from the couch, pacing now. Of course it matters. Who is she? How long? Her eyes suddenly widened. It's Emma, isn't it? I didn't answer right away. I just let her sit in that silence. Her hands flew to her head. It is Emma. That's why you've been talking about her so much. That's why she's been ignoring my texts. My best friend? I tilted my head. Funny, isn't it? How it was perfectly fine for you to sleep with whoever you wanted, but the moment I do the same, it's suddenly a problem. Sophie's face turned, red with anger. But it's Emma, she screamed. She's my best friend. I stood up, looking her dead in the eyes. Actually, Sophie, she was your best friend, and now she's my girlfriend. Her entire body shook. You're lying, she shrieked. I'm not. Emma would never do that to me. Want to check your messages? See how she hasn't been replying? Maybe ask her where she was last Thursday night when you were out with that guy. From the startup? Sophie grabbed her phone, her fingers shaking as she scrolled through her texts. Her mouth opened slightly. She saw it. Emma's silence. The lack of responses. The way Emma had started pulling away from her. No. No. This isn't happening. It is, Sophie. She collapsed onto the couch, her voice barely a whisper. This isn't how it was supposed to go, Sophie cried. Big, dramatic sobs. A month ago, I would have rushed to comfort her. Now, I just watched. We can fix this, she begged. We can go back to how things were. I shook my head. No, Sophie, we can't. Because now, I know what it feels like to be truly appreciated, and I won't settle for less. Or, she grabbed her keys and stormed toward the door. I'm going to Emma's place to fix this. She slammed the door behind her. I sighed, pulled out my phone, and texted Emma. Sophie's coming. Just a heads up. Emma replied almost instantly. Let her come. I need to handle this. That was the last time Sophie and I truly spoke. She packed her things the next morning, bringing a few friends who threw me dirty looks like I was the villain. Emma showed up halfway through, coffee in hand. The moment Sophie saw her, she lost it. You're really flaunting this, huh? She snapped. Emma simply smiled. Nobody's flaunting anything. I'm just here to support my boyfriend. Sophie's eyes flashed with pain. But it didn't matter anymore. That night, Emma and I sat in my apartment. Our apartment now. You okay? Emma asked softly. I looked around at the half-empty shelves, the fresh start ahead of me. Yeah, I said, smiling for the first time in months. I really am. 2 weeks later, life felt lighter. Sophie still tells everyone I cheated with Emma. Some people believe her. The people who matter don't. Emma decorated my fridge with her students' crayon drawings last night. Too empty, she said with a smile. And for the first time in a long time, I realized I wasn't empty anymore. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.